Hello everyone, my name is Zhatt and this is your Tycoon news for March 2016. This episode is packed with information, so pay close attention. Godus has transformed into Godus Wars, City Skylines' coolest new DLC has been released, and Project Automata is something you're gonna want to check out. Snowfall, the second DLC for City Skylines, is now available. The add-on brings cosmetic weather including rain, fog, and, well, snow. As temperatures drop, heating becomes a new requirement for snow maps, and plows are required to keep roads clear. Streetcars and general road maintenance has been added to all maps as well. Some reviews are giving low scores for the DLC, and users have been complaining that the expansion does not add much to gameplay. Considering the previous add-on After Dark added new industry types, this edition could have potentially included similar specializations with snow-themed buildings like ski slopes or cottage resorts. On the other hand, Snowfall is priced lower than After Dark, so I'd still consider it good value. Version 1.0 of Gnomoria released on February 23rd. Are you familiar with Dwarf Fortress? Well, it's kinda like that, but with gnomes and graphics. In this sandbox game, the player leads and manages a village of gnomes, which makes up a small part of a larger kingdom. Craft items, build structures, set traps, and break apart the fully destructible environment to pull in more resources and give yourself more room to grow your encampment. As you stockpile wealth, nomads will move in willing to join your cause, but the excess resource also attracts unfriendly types too. A wide range of items can be crafted at different workshops, including elaborate mechanisms like cranks, levers, and steam engines. 22can's most recent update for Godus was in September of last year. For nearly 5 months there had been no updates on the game's development. In February, the company announced their newest project, Godus Wars, stating that Godus was always considered to be two games. Godus itself can no longer be purchased directly on Steam, as it redirects to the Godus Wars bundle, which includes both games. While it may have always been the plan to split the game into two, it has come as a big surprise to early access backers, and unsurprisingly, the move has been highly controversial. If this drastic change in development wasn't enough to annoy players, finding out that Godus Wars also included a $4.99 microtransaction to unlock the remainder of the game most definitely was. The day after, 22can CEO Simon Phillips noted that the extra content being a premium add-on isn't really a popular choice, and quickly made it available to all existing owners of Godus for free. There might be some situations where splitting an early access game into two separate titles is reasonable, but if that's the plan all along, it should be abundantly clear to backers to begin with. Microtransactions have their place and can work well in some games, but shoehorning them into an early access title is asking for unhappy customers. Doing both of these actions at the same time, on a title that's already been falling behind on its promises, is a messy proposition to say the least. RPG Tycoon puts you in control of a desolate kingdom which you must grow. On the Tycoon side, you can build taverns and shops for passerbys, which gives you a steady income. The RPG element comes in when you start hiring heroes to complete quests off-screen. New buildings and equipment unlock as the kingdom levels up. The game was built by a single developer, so some rough corners are expected, but a few poor gameplay and interface design choices make the game difficult to enjoy. The unintuitive questing system has the player guessing which equipment is required and which order it should be equipped. Only once the quest is over do you find out if these random choices had an effect. With most of the equipment being unavailable in the early game, the process quickly becomes frustrating. Sugar Mill is a title still in the early alpha stage. The game is a sandbox city builder based in the 15th to 16th century Caribbean Sea. Starting with a few families, the player grows the settlement with the goal of constructing a port to connect to the outside world. Initially, import and export orders will be serviced by small boats. However, as the port gains reputation, larger fleets of ships will come to trade. As the shipping lanes become more traveled, pirates will be more likely to attack. Constructing military forts, jails, and other defensive structures will lower this risk. The game is going to be shaped and balanced by the community, so feel free to contact the developer directly and share any feedback you have. Sugar Mill will be on Steam Greenlight as of March 10th. As the new bunker warden, it is your responsibility to take control of a group of fellow bunker residents and try to survive until the surface once again becomes habitable. Life in Bunker is a sandbox building game where you construct the essentials to keep everyone alive, fend off diseases, infections, and mole people, and deal with new generations of people as residents grow old and pass on. While I found Life in Bunker to be a little shallow, pun intended, and the interface a little awkward, the game is picking up some very positive reviews on Steam, so this might still be a game worth checking out. On February 25th, Factorio became available as an early access title on Steam. The game quickly became the highest rated game on the platform, and according to the team, it sold slightly more during the first week on Steam than it did in the entire last year. If you haven't heard of the title yet, Factorio is all about constructing and automating large production lines which mine resources, manufacture robots, and produce weapons for you all automatically. There's a certain satisfaction in constantly tweaking the designs of your factories until the raw materials are flowing just right. On top of that, you need to defend yourself and your contraptions from creatures who don't really appreciate you polluting their world. Factorio has been in development since the spring of 2012, and although it is still in an alpha state, over 100,000 copies of the game have been sold so far. Although I don't have a lot of details on this game yet, Industry Manager might be a development worth following. The game is being published by Astragon Entertainment, which might be better known for Ship Simulator 2008 or even Street Cleaning Simulator. The development team is striving to base the mechanics in reality as much as possible, which should open up many options for the player to manage their resources. Do you store your goods in a warehouse for a day, or do you directly ship it to the stores? Do you build your production chains near the resources you need, or closer to towns where there are more people to hire? As the player must choose a section of the map to work in at the beginning of the game, the resources available in that section will affect the types of industries that are viable early on. In contrast to that clean bright future, Project Automata takes place in an industrial boom where the player will be investing heavily in dirty coal and oil-powered industry. Taking inspiration from a wide range of titles including Transport Tycoon, Anno, and Factorio, Project Automata is about constructing complex supply chains using conveyor belts, trucks, trains, ships, and even zeppelins to move goods around. Doing away with the standard economy of money, everything must be traded or constructed using the resources you have at hand. Want to build a new factory? Make sure you have all the construction materials needed, plus a way to deliver them to the site. Feeding towns with goods will make them grow and keep them happy. Once a town levels up, you can gain access to even higher tier resources and products to trade. As your automated empire expands, pollution will become a critical concern for you and the surrounding towns. There will be some means to limit its production, but ultimately you will need to decide where you're going to dump all your toxic wastes. As a full disclosure, I have been working with the Project Automata team helping out with some marketing and the user experience, so I might be a little biased at how awesome this game's going to be. But don't worry, this definitely won't dampen my excitement for all the other cool games out there. As usual, thank you for watching this episode of Tycoon News. If there's a game you would like to see featured in the next episode, feel free to contact me at writezat@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Twitter @Zhatt for more Tycoon game updates. Till next time, take care.